Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. By Mouth Daily. Pill number 201. Dang it to heck. How are y'all doing? Wonderful, it's great. Dang it to heck. Dang it to heck. Hey, Nicole. How are you? Coffer's here. How y'all doing? Are you? Coffer's here. Dang it to heck. 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 Oh, well, like what time, Martin? I could probably do a, what do you call that? Command performance at. Oh, well, like what time, Martin? I could probably. Hello, John Forster. I could probably do a, what do you call that? Oh, we're getting feedback already. We need some volume control. Volume control, it's emergency here. Dang it, where did I put the remote at? Oh, we're getting feedback already. We need some volume control. Volume control is emergency here. Lucas is tripping. Hi, Lucas. We should hang out sometime, man. Lucas is tripping. Hi, Lucas. We should hang out sometime, man. This is a little bright back here. We gotta adjust this a little bit. Gotta add to those trippy effects, Martin. It's all calculated for sure. I planned all this. Gotta add to those trippy effects, Martin. It's all calculated for sure. I planned all this. Gotta adjust the brightness here too. Let's put that down a little bit. Adjust the brightness here too. Let's put that down a little bit. Dang it to heck. Down just a little more. You're starting to be able to see those Obamas here a little bit right here. I need like a 70-inch OLED TV, and you guys will be able to see me like nobody's business. I need like a 70-inch OLED TV, and you guys will be able to see me like nobody's business. All right, we need a little more light here. Well, if you want to take good pictures, right, you have to have good lighting. I just read that. All right, we need a little more light here. New York Times photographer was talking about those developing pictures in a dark room or something. Oh my goodness. New York Times photographer talking about those developing pictures in a dark room or something. Oh my goodness. If there are no objections to start talking about drugs, I'm gonna smoke some weed in a second. You wanna smoke a bowl with me? Dang it, the heck. If there are no objections to start talking about drugs, I'm gonna smoke some weed in a second. You wanna smoke a bowl with me? Dang it, the heck. If there are no objections to start talking about drugs, I'm gonna smoke some weed in a second. Thanks for sharing. I can share in groups again finally, but thank you both, Max and Nicole. I don't think I'm gonna share from my main account anymore because it's just gonna get shut down again. Man, maybe next time it'll be permanently too. I don't know. So I'm gonna work on getting a new account. I made a fake ID to recover my old account. But it wasn't very good. It was a rush job. So if that doesn't work, I'm going to make a new account with a new fake ID, and then Rodney Danger will live again. Oh man! All right. I don't have a lot going on today. I crashed really hard. I made the kids dinner. So I did the show last night, and I didn't sleep all day. And then I made the boys dinner. I cleaned the house during the day, and then I made the boys dinner, and then I just crashed. I fell asleep, and I didn't wake up until midnight. And the boys were still awake. They're like, "We watched 3 movies." I was only supposed to take an hour nap. Okay. That looks so washed out. Let's try to. Black corrector. Oh, that's loud. Black corrector. Oh, that's loud. Yeah, it was on this phone. I turned it down. Sorry. Yeah, it was on this phone. I turned it down. Sorry. Hey, Jamie. How are you guys? Oh, man. Hey, Jamie. How are you guys? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then, what now? Oh, this is anticlimacticism. Is that what Jake would say? That's what he comes to this show for. Anticlimacticism. This is too bright too. Everything's so washed out. Hey, the picture on the TV looks pretty good though. You can see Obama's, all the Obamas. This is too bright too. Yeah, I'll get the tunes going. I just turned on the whatchamacallit, the thingamajigger. The picture on the TV looks pretty good though. You can see it going. I just turned on the whatchamacallit, the thingamajigger. That works. Okay. I'm just going to put on the standard churchy music until I'll play some records after I get the show all set up. We'll get the fireplace going. If anybody wants to share the show, please go ahead. I'm not going to tonight. I'm going to wait till Rodney Danger is alive and well. Jamie relapsed last night. Well, I don't know. I like to when I was in my partial hospitalization, my partial psychiatric hospitalization. I don't know. I learned this model, like the what do they call it? The internal family therapist, or what is it? I forget exactly. Anyway, so basically it's like you have a bunch of people living inside your head, and if you I don't know, I'll tell this later. I'm sorry, Jamie, it's hard. My point is, let go of guilt. Guilt is like a fucking bag of bricks. All you gotta do is set it down. I heard that from the devil. But it seemed like good advice. Let go of guilt. Guilt is like a fucking bag of bricks. All you gotta do is set it down. I heard that from the devil. Stephanie, come over to the echo chamber. Good luck on your job interview tomorrow. Fuck money though. Fuck it, right? Give me, I don't know. Just pay me in drugs. That's all I need. I put coins in here, a bunch of change, just to weight it down. Yeah, with the relapse. So even if you're not relapsing, when you're in recovery, it's helpful for me to let go of that guilt, because the guilt is just another thing to try to escape. And where like people that have really bad drug addiction, they usually have they have pain that they're trying to escape. That's why they're using the drugs. And if you think of the drugs like as a person inside your head, right? They're a firefighter. Like all the things that help you cope, whether it be sex, drugs, gambling, all the in this partial hospitalization, the lead therapist there taught that our centered self, like the part of ourself that we want to be, the one we want to cultivate, should act as an internal family therapist to all the other parts of ourselves, and split it up into three sections, right? In a circle, and there's like in the center there's another circle, that's you. You're the family therapist at the center of the family inside your head, internal family system. That's what it is. And there's the firefighters are all the coping mechanisms. The exiles are like all the emotions you're trying to escape. So when the exiles over here, they're building a fire because they're being ignored, like feelings of grief, feelings of depression, feelings of abandonment, all the things that we try to like never feel, that we're not supposed to feel, that's uncomfortable to feel. Think of that, those uncomfortable feelings as a fire. And then the firefighters are there, like when the fire's raging, that's when that's when you're using drugs, that's when you're doing this, that's what you're doing this to put out the fire. And rather than and the way the medical model of addiction is treated right now is like, instead of putting out the fire, they're like, kill the firefighters, So even if the firefighters are causing some problems, they're doing a bunch of coke in the firehouse or whatever they're doing or whatever, in the middle of a 4-alarm fire is not the time to fire them. And in fact, even once you're done using drugs, or once I was done using drugs, instead of berating the firefighter that was my drug use, I go to the drugs and say, thank you for being there. Thank you for putting out the fire for me. I don't know where I would be right now. You don't know where you'd be if you hadn't used drugs. I don't know. And my therapist said this too. This is a different therapist. I'm talking about whippets for me, and he's like, for all I know, whippets might be the only thing keeping you from killing yourself. Who am I to judge? And anyway, it doesn't matter whether you're using drugs or not using drugs. You're a person no matter who you are, and I don't know. I wouldn't fault anybody for trying to cope, and even myself. And certainly not you, Jamie. I'm gonna kill myself. Damn it! I'm gonna kill myself. Damn it! I'm gonna put this cool ass magnet in there. Magnets are heavy. Oh, it doesn't fit. Damn it. That's probably why it's not in there already. Like, oh, it'd be a good idea to put that in there. Why was the set even taken down? Well, I take it down most nights, really. I usually get up early enough to put it back up. Because this is my kitchen, that's why. I don't know, my kit, you know, like... I usually get up early enough to put it back up. Because this is my kitchen, that's why. I don't know, my kit, you know, like... Hey, Justin. Hey, Justin. Fuck me. Alright, don't get crabby, Jason. Jesus Christ. It's just fucking... They're just fucking toys. Damn it. Alright, don't get crabby, Jason. Jesus Christ. Just fucking toys. Who's hurting me? You shouldn't. Who's hurting me? You shouldn't. Alright, that's probably good enough to get the bowl started here, at least. Whatever. Alright, that's probably good enough to get the bowl started here, at least. Whatever. Hey, Sophie. Hey, Sophie. My 19-year-old old friend won't try Kratom, but does drugs once a month. Kratom is like chamomile. Well, everybody raves about it. It seems like I've never tried it. Old friend won't try Kratom, but does drugs. Kratom is like chamomile. Well, everybody raves about it. It seems like I've never tried it. Alright, let's just smoke a bowl, am I right? And it's definitely not like spice. Alright, let's just smoke a bowl. From what I hear, like, people just rave about it. Everybody's like, it helped me stop opiates, all this other stuff. I don't know. In fact, like, it's the first time with Kratom, is the first time the FDA has ever, like, they were in the process of doing like an emergency ban and making Kratom illegal, but the outcry by people who used it for treatment was so great. It's the first time they've ever like stopped in the middle of that process, and Kratom was about to become illegal, and then they changed their mind. It's a plant. I think people swallow it and it tastes really, I don't know. I'm in a couple groups where people use Kratom a lot, and people Like, yeah, it tastes terrible, I guess. People make these balls of like honey and I don't even know what they do. People are weird. Not me though. I'm normal. Angel, I think you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder about other drugs besides cannabis. Cannabis is a drug like any other. Angel, I think you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder about other drugs besides cannabis. Cannabis is a drug like any other. Dang it, the hook! Ha! That is Gordon, that's Sophie. Hey Sophie, can you say hi? That is Gordon, that's Sophie. Hey Sophie, can you say hi? It's all washed out again. I'm all washed out. Yeah, maybe if we turn up the brightness over here. Let's see. That's better. Hi. Maybe if we turn up the brightness over here. Sophie is a white boxer. After I smoke this bowl, have her do some circus tricks. I'm training her to be a circus dog now. Don't you know? After I smoke this bowl, have her do some circus tricks. I'm training her to be a circus dog now. Don't you know? That's a much better balance of lighting, I think. Oh. I think they're just one and the same, right? I could be wrong about that, ecstasy and MDMA. I've only done that a couple times. Very enjoyable. I love drugs. I do, I love drugs. I've only done that a couple times. Very enjoyable. They have consequences, of course. It doesn't everything. Indeed it does. Well, ecstasy is usually cut, right? Is that the difference? Ecstasy is cut with heroin or amphetamines or who knows what else. Ecstasy is usually cut. The difference? Ecstasy is cut with heroin or amphetamines or. Lucas, you are not shy about your love of drugs. I've been seeing your posts lately. I get a kick out of them. They're brave. They're brave. Lucas, you are not shy about your love of drugs. I've been seeing your posts lately. I get a kick out of them. They're brave. They're brave. Lucas, you are not shy about your love of drugs. I've been seeing your posts lately. Dang it! Listen to this, guys. This is, or guys and gals. This is a recording from, let's see, September 1929 and April 1930. And it's the Dirty Dozen, number 2, and Dirty Dozen, number 1. And like I said, 1929 and 1930, and I don't know, I'm not like a musical historian or an expert in genres or anything like that. 1929 and 1930, and I don't know, I'm not but this shit sounds like 50s and 60s rock and roll, and it's 1929. It sounds like, to me, it reminds me of Johnny B. Good style shit, right? This shit sounds like 50s and 60s rock and roll, and it's 1929. It sounds like, to me, it reminds me of Johnny B. Good style shit, right? Okay, here we go. Let's go do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Let's go do it. Let's do it. I just played this for the first time last night, so I was kind of surprised by it. Recorded September 1929. I want all you women folks to fall in line. And all you guy folks too. I want all you folks to fall in line. Get in line, bitches. Let's do the flip side. Let's do the flip side. This is Dirty Dozen number 2. Maybe the band is Speckled Red. I don't know how to read these things. Dirty Dozen number 2. Piano with singing, they call this. Piano with singing. The band is Speckled Red. I don't know how to read these. Piano with singing. Piano with singing. The band is Speckled Red. I'd trip every goddamn day if I could. Maybe not. That'd be probably hard to be a parent then. But still, I love acid. I'd trip every goddamn day. That'd be probably hard to be a parent. But still, I love acid. Sadly, you only can trip every 3 days. And sadly, it's been weeks and weeks since I've tripped. I don't know, last summer, an ex-boyfriend, he bought a sheet of acid, and I did like half of it. Well, 3/4 really. Last summer, an ex-boyfriend, he bought a sheet of acid, and I did like half of it. Well, 3/4 really. Christina's grandma used to listen, great grandma used to listen to music like this. Nice. There wasn't a lot of music played in my house when I was a kid. Christmas music at Christmas time. We had the player, like when I was really little, we had an 8-track player. I remember early my dad got a CD player. And they didn't even like music. We had like a mail-in order of like 50s, like I don't know, I used to like that's what my parents would listen to, like a collection of 50s greatest hits, like Purple People Eater and Mac the Knife and I don't know what else. I don't know. Nicole said it's really hard for me to get weed anymore, which is disappointing. That's like, I'm sorry, Nicole. It's really hard for me to get weed anymore, which is disappointing. That's the one thing I can get pretty consistently, but I don't have a very good deal at all. I don't know. It's just a guy that does me a favor. The guy I met on Grindr. We don't have sex anymore, but I think he mostly used Grindr, I think. to find people to sell cocaine to. I don't use cocaine, but I tried it with him though. But he's bisexual too. Anyway, that was a long time ago, and since then he's kind of become my de facto weed dealer. He's bisexual too. Oh, it's hard for you to get high on weed anymore. That was a long time ago, and since then, it's like Lamictal, I think, might do that to me, and also just tolerance too. If I go a few days without, that really makes a big difference. It's like Lamictal, I think, might do that to me, and also just tolerance too. If I go a few days without, that really makes a big difference. This is kind of fun because I like this because it creates a, see how the lights here create a double shadow here, and so this one is casting an actual shadow, but if we want, we can pretend this one's casting a shadow on that wall back there. If we want. And then it's casting two shadows actually, and then same goes with Superman too, right? And then it's casting two shadows actually, and then same goes with Superman too, right? Maybe what should we play next? We should just maybe listen to a new record. Let's do that. Oh, and to get at the records, I have to pull out everything on my. I'll pull out my prop basket. And to get at the records, I have to pull out everything on my prop basket. Dang it, Hayek! This is a Pokeball, right? I don't know. I feel exactly like Carrot Top. I am Carrot Top right now. Dang it. What? Justin's going to bed. Good night, Justin. That was in the basement. We got there's so much shit in the basement, you guys. You don't even want to know. I don't want to know. That was in the basement. We got there's so much shit in the basement, you guys. You don't even want to know. Dang it to hot. Dang it to hot. Dang it to hot. Dang it too hot. Right to hot. Dang it right there. Yep, dang it. Okay, what was I doing in here? Getting record. I had to move this to get to the records. That's right. See, normally this would already be sitting on top of the sink. Normally. Use that in the loosest possible sense. Alright, let's get a record going. Oh, this is fun. Miniature Playhouse. New Mother Goose rhymes. This is fun. Who would have thunk it? Miniature Playhouse. New Mother Goose rhymes. Heidi Untidy. Who would have thunk it? I Sell Dishes. Once Upon a Time. A Maid in Racine. Heidi Untidy. If You Eat Fruit. And Clickety Clack. Once Upon a Time. A Maid in Racine. Heidi Untidy. If You Eat Fruit. And Clickety Clack. Once Upon a Time. A Maid in Racine. If You Eat Fruit. And Clickety Clack. Who would have thunk it?
Lightly stabbed with motherly incense near your hand. Your hair is all rumpled. You look such a fright. Your stockings are torn. You look dressed as your son. Come, Ivy and Tidy, we'll fix you our date with a big application of watery soap.
Poor Heidi and Tidy.
So you're going to make believe you're going hunting. Do you want me to bring you?
Oh, yes. You can hide me for sure.
What do you say?
I'm so vicious, Father Joey. I'm so vicious, and this is my story. Sausage to cream, and cups to the floor. Make your little, and go make the dime. Five and prepare, so five them on time. If there's no money, you still can shine. I think some gum, no lollipop.
It's really hard to understand, isn't it? Or is it just me? No, that's hard to understand.
Even Mother Goose admits that I'm the best storyteller she's ever heard. Now, how shall I begin?
Yes,
It's really hard to understand, isn't it?
I have my story. Once upon a time. Don't you see? I like my story to get in. Once upon a time.
I wish I had another new needle. They're around somewhere, I just don't know where. There's one in here. I don't know if I can get at it though. I've got a pill bottle full of needles somewhere. Phonograph needles. For those of you just tuning in. I don't know if I can get at it though. I've got a pill bottle full of needles somewhere. Phonograph needles. For those of you just tuning in. I don't know if I can get at it. I think I'm gonna get it. Whoa! I don't know if I'll find that. It flew way over there. Dang it. Whoa. I don't know if I'll find that. It flew way over there. No, there's no way. I don't know where that landed. And that was certainly the last one on there, I think. I'd spilt the needles, and they all landed on this magnet here. This giant magnet. Certainly the last one on there, I think. I'd spilt the needles, and they all landed on this magnet here. This giant magnet. Good feedback. I'd spilt the needles. Yes, anybody find Crystal's picture? That's a good. It's like, what's the word? Where's Waldo? Type thing. Where's Waldo? I think I already looked up here for them. It's kind of a block where they're at. Yeah, Cookie Monster driving cake around. Aha! Aha! Damn it! They're not the right kind of needles. These are sewing needles. Damn it! They're not the right kind of needles. These are sewing needles. And then this is empty. They're in a pill bottle. And then this is empty. They're in a pill bottle. R2D2, he's here. R2D2, he's here. Goodness. Got snot. Still getting over a cold. It feels like it moved into my lungs a little bit. Still getting over a cold. It feels like it moved into my lungs a little bit. I know those needles that are in a pill bottle, but I have no idea where it is. Hang on. I'll be right back. I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found all I could carry, which is the next best thing. Some of it I brought up just to prove really how crazy I am. As if I found my kid's shoe. We've been looking for that for a while. Some of it I brought up just to prove really how crazy I am. As if I found my kid's shoe. We've been looking for that for a while. Hey, Angel. When are you coming over? That sounds fun. I don't know. So I brought just a tiny box of some of my Obama paraphernalia. And what? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I have bins of pins and tons of t-shirts. And even like several pairs of Obama underwear. But I just brought up one small box of pins. A bin of pins. Oh, I've got yard signs. I've got signs you can hold up. Here, I'll just show you what the heck. I've got yard signs. I've got signs you can hold up. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, these are the stickers I placed all over Amsterdam and pretty much everywhere I went before the 2008 election. Oh, these are the stickers I placed all over Amsterdam. I have pretty much everywhere I went before the 2008 election. I can't do this. They came in different sizes. This is one of those stickers in the frame, and it's signed by Shepard Fairey. Whatever. Brigard alert. Different sizes. This is one of those stickers in the frame. That's got to come up here. This belongs up here. Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders for Obama. Obama 08. Veterans for Obama. Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders. I can't read that for Obama. Obama 08. Veterans for Obama. America's First Family. Obama 08. I can't read that for Obama. Ireland for Obama. Oh, I love that Obama sounds Irish. Women for Obama. Republicans for Obama. That's what I want to stay up here too. Women for Obama. Republicans for Obama. I don't know. Obama squared. I don't know. Hello, Jesus. Hey, Nathan, how's it going? Obama for president. African Americans for Obama. That's just a bracelet. Obama pens. African Americans for Obama. It's a hope pin. Tiny little circle. Obama O. Rainbow Obama. Another hope pin. Women for Obama. Obama 08. Women for Obama. Pro family Obama. This is all shit from his website. Just watching hilarious drunk people competitions. What do? Is it like cinnamon challenge? I don't even know. Just watching hilarious drunk people competitions. What do? I don't remember. This can't have been from his campaign. I don't know where I got this. Barack in the day. I like this shit. Dang it, the heck. This can't have been from his campaign. I don't know where I got this. Barack in the day. I like this shit. Dang it, the heck. Ooh. I don't remember this either. Jason Alvin is one of the elite, hardworking, idealistic, understaffed, overly excited, committed citizens working for Obama. Wow. I don't even know. What is this about? Jason Alvin is one of the elite, hardworking, idealistic, understaffed, overly excited, committed citizens working for Obama. I think this whole package must be from, like, a place that I ordered it. I don't know. I think this whole package must be from. Angels, why do you like Obama so much? I don't like. He disappointed me. I don't know. That's why you never. We're all just human, right? He's not a good or a bad person. He's just a person. And I don't know. He seemed like this perfect blend, you know. Like he's, his father is black from Africa. His mother white from Kansas. Grew up in Hawaii and I think Indonesia, right, or something. Like saw people in destitute, poverty, like around that when he was a child. Grew up in a middle class family. Exceptionally bright, right? He wrote his 2 books were really amazing. I listened to him on tape and I don't know, one of them made me cry when he was telling a story about his grandparents, like his white grandparents, and like how he just like didn't fit either place, right? And really, it's I liked Obama so much just because I was desperate about this national embarrassment, right? This man that used fear to warp this country, and I don't know, like just war profiteering, war crimes, and torturing people. Got rid of our Bill of Rights with the Patriot Act, and here Obama, he was the editor of the Harvard Law Review, the first African American to be the, and then whatever. It doesn't matter the color of his skin, but it does matter because he was supposed to heal the wounds of slavery. He was supposed to be Abraham Lincoln and FDR and JFK and RFK and Martin Luther King, all rolled into one. He was on this train of history, and he was gonna restore the Constitution because he ends up being he's a constitutional law professor. He wasn't in Congress. He wasn't a senator or in the House when the Patriot Act was passed. Because basically, our entire government, Bush was smart. He got our entire government to Democrats and Republicans alike. All this shit the most egregious shit that went through Congress, that was signed off by both parties. I don't know. It just. So yeah, Obama came along. He wasn't tainted by all that shit. Hillary was. She voted for the war in Iraq. All this illegal shit. And Obama came along. And no one stood up. And he did stand up. He did say that he didn't agree with the war in Iraq. So I just had this. I held out this hope that he would get into office and let the wheels of justice turn, and war criminals, they should be brought to prosecution. Our entire government should sit and be held accountable. And instead of doing that, instead of holding people accountable, or that's not his job. He's not just like Trump isn't, he's not. He shouldn't be in charge of investigating. The president is the executive branch. It's not I don't know. It's not their job to prosecute crimes. But he could have let his attorney general on his first day of office. Like, he disappointed me at his very first day, or his very first interview. I think it was a 60 Minutes. I could be wrong about this, but the general facts are true. That it was shortly after taking office, he gave an interview and said, we're looking forward, not backward. There will be no prosecution of the Bush administration. It's his decision to make. Anyway, I just hoped he would get into office and restore my idealistic version of America. So yeah, that's why. And if Obama failed at anything with healthcare or anything else, it's by not. He couldn't have done a lot more. He really couldn't have. He didn't. The country is not moving in a liberal direction, let's say. But he could have said more. And words matter. And even, he should have stood up against torture more. He should have come out about Guantanamo Bay more. I think he should have gone after the bankers more. He should have definitely. There should be people in jail after the mortgage crisis and the Wall Street defrauded $7 trillion from us. That $7 trillion, like I said, he should have been the new FDR. We should have a new deal with that $7 trillion, and we should all be, the whole country should be employed. I don't care what we're making. Better and bigger national parks, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't give a shit. But put money in people's hands and food in people's mouths, and instead that $7 trillion went to Goldman Sachs and whoever fucking else, and I don't know. Those people should be in jail. Instead that $7 trillion went to Goldman Sachs and whoever fucking. They're all for. I don't. I think Obama. I'm not going to spend a lot of time defending Obama, but I would like people to be held accountable, including him, because he sat in a position of power over a government that's clearly illegitimate. To my mind, at least. He sat in a position of power over a government that's clearly illegitimate. To my mind, at least. I don't have a lot of great love for Obama, but yeah, share, please, share. God, I got sinus problems again. I don't have a lot of great love for Obama. Share, please, share. Came out that time. Gross. I can feel that in my ears. Dude, you're a non-admitted anarchist. No, I didn't. No, I just want a revolution. My plan is to draft a new declaration. We need a new declaration first off, right? But not this one. This one not of independence, but rather of interdependence. We need a declaration of interdependence. All countries and all people are interdependent on one another, and once we acknowledge that fact, we have to decide what we're going to do about it. And so after I draft this Declaration of Interdependence, I want to form what I don't know what was the big a constitutional convention. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, all the dangers are definitely can be signers as well to this new constitution. Hopefully, and yeah, I want to draft another constitution. This one, a constitution that more fully fleshes out human rights and the rights of the individual. And within that constitution, I think I would I'm a big fan of democratic socialism, so everything divided up equally, right? But we all get a vote on how it's divvied up. I think my idea is for carbon nanotube, like cable, pyramids floating on the ocean. I stole this part of the idea from Popular Science back in the 90s or something when I was a kid. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. But like a city made of carbon nanotube ropes, right? With high-speed transport to like really state-of-the-art cultural facilities and natural facilities. I mean, you can make these humongous, like cities of millions. They could float on the ocean. We could seed the land to the meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. The meek being the animals. They all can have it. Us humans can. Well, the humans that choose not to partake in our pyramid cities, like our floating pyramid cities, they can live with them, and maybe we can even help them. But I think most people would. I don't know. I think most people would choose to live in our pyramid cities, right? I don't know, because they're going to be just amazing. We're going to, for one, Jason the social scientist is going to be playing on loop 24/7. Jason's woke as fuck. I reserve the right to sleep. Yeah, and then those floating pyramid cities will serve as way stations for space elevators. So there'll be, I don't know, there'll be hundreds, thousands of floating pyramid cities that purify the water with fusion. Dang it. Space elevators. So there'll be, I don't know, there'll be hundreds, thousands of floating pyramid cities that purify the water with. So we don't start a fire. I'm gonna go lay down with him for a little while. So he falls back to sleep. I'm gonna go lay down with him for a little while. So he falls back to sleep. All right, I'll be back. Jack, I'll be right back, mister. I'll be right back, mister. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Jake. Hey, I think he's asleep. I don't know though. Who can be sure of these things? I'm He-Man. I'm strong as can be. I brush my teeth with regularity. This doesn't look very like He-Man. I'm He-Man. I'm strong as can be. I brush my teeth with regularity. Once in the morning, once at bedtime, and after each meal, so my teeth will shine. You'll remember this saying if you rehearse, and you'll be like the masters of the universe. There, this completes. Is that better? Okay. Ah, Skeletor! Oh, I don't know. Here we go. I'm Skeletor, I mean. Man at Arms. She-Ra. Man at Arms. I've been looking for these for a while. She-Ra. Oh my goodness. Oh, I was still looking for new needles. I never did find that. So disorganized, that's what I am. Alright, let's plug back in the vape. I haven't taken my pills yet either. Could I sound any more whiny? Could try, I guess. Go to the bathroom. Woe is me. everybody. What the heck? I'm inviting everyone. I'm not skipping anybody. Dang it, Dak. I'm inviting everyone. I'm not skipping anybody. Oh shit, it's not even turned on. Oh, we'll just keep sharing while this warms up. Holla. Hey, James Croft. Heck, should I stick around? These awkward silences. Maybe time to get an advert or two. Maybe 4. Well, I'd rather have silence than an advertisement, quite frankly. Awkward silence is the best. I don't know, that's half the fun of random hookups. Just the awkward feeling of like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I don't know. Although, with a hookup, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Well, sometimes it's probably good to talk about it a little bit, at least in text. Although, with a hookup, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Well, sometimes it's probably good to talk about it. Vincent's here. How's it going? Dang it to heck. We're just waiting for the vape base unit to warm up. How does this thing work? So they're just like a little heating element. Right, and down there. And I don't know, it runs through this tube. I don't know. The tube must open up at the bottom here. Anyway, so it gets really hot. And then you run hot air over that hot coil, and it pulls it up, and the hot air runs over the weed. It's not, so it doesn't burn the weed. It just gets like hot air scorched over it. And so it almost like toasts it, and that releases the THC without actually burning the plant material. And right now we're just waiting for it to get. Dang it, the back. This data's still in the trunk. No one's in the trunk. No one's in the trunk. I was thinking about, we gotta. Dang it, the heck. I'll wait for that to warm up before we do the relaxing thing. I'm just inviting people. I can't share the show right now, or I could actually, but I just don't want to get another ban. They keep banning me for sharing this show. It's like it tastes like spam. This show spam. Dang it to heck! Oh yeah, so this is what the weed looks like after you vape it, as opposed to smoke it. Where is that? What must we change? Oh, sure. Yeah, I gotta work on trying to get something. I don't know. I made a fake ID to try to get Rodney Danger through. I don't know here. I made a fake ID. It's brown. Why the late start? Why the late start? I should take my pill though. I did the show last night, and I was already tired then, and after the show, I didn't sleep, and I stayed awake all day, and then the kids got home from school. I made them dinner, and it got to be like 7 o'clock at night, and I hit a wall, and I was going to take like an hour nap, and ended up sleeping till midnight. And the boys were like, "Oh, we watched 3 movies, and we made Mario levels for each other." And I'm like, "Why didn't you guys wake me up? It's way past your bedtime." I don't know. So then, so then I had to get them into bed, and I was tired. I was like, I can't do this. I was burning the candle at both ends. That's what it was. Dang it, right to heck. Am I right? Okay, I wonder how long ago ooh, that seems warm. Crime's the disease, meat the cure. Okay, not the cure, but more like a topical ointment to reduce the swelling and itch. Hi, Jason. Crime's the disease. Lucas said, you should go tripping with someone and shoot the show out on a hike. I could link you to, I think it's pill 164, 165, on my road trip. Lake McConaughey. The stars, like, it was the first time I had visuals on that scale, because like Nebraska, it was like out in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. You know, I opened up the Grindr app just because I was curious. There was one guy with like 4 miles away, and then there wasn't another guy for like 90 miles. And like, so you know you're in the middle of nowhere. And then, you know, there wasn't much light pollution. There's like, at first the night was really clear. Like, so the stars melted from the sky, and the clouds with the moon behind them danced to the firelight. It was good. It was really nice. So the stars melted from the sky, and the clouds with the moon behind them danced to the firelight. It was good. It was really nice. I had problems with the show, though. Battery being dead. Yeah, it was. I had problems with the show, though. Battery being dead. Yeah, it was. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate being missed. I do. That's another thing about, you know, with mental health, just in general. Sometimes it's hard to keep yourself motivated, and no one likes to be told what to do, but it's different if you give somebody permission to hold you accountable, and I think I give you de facto permission to hold me accountable by being on the, you know, like by making it public. It's different if you give somebody permission to hold you accountable, and it helps me. Like, if I don't take my pill, like, somebody's gonna wonder about it, or I don't know, they might at least. Very okay might be a stretch. That might be a big stretch. I mean, I'm gonna survive. Sometimes I wish I was dead. Unless I feel like I might actually die, and then I'm like, get me to a doctor. Sometimes I wish I was dead. Unless I feel like I might actually die, and then I'm like, get me to a doctor. Where'd I put that bucket of used weed? Oh, here it is. Probably doesn't work the best, but then I smoke this afterwards. What is that in there now? I'm gonna repack this now, though. Oh, I do fake it well, don't I? Everybody thinks I'm in a good mood. I think being around people actually puts me in a good mood. I mean, like that. It's one of the things I really resented about going to work, is especially because the people weren't, you know, like the people. A lot of the people weren't all that nice to me, right? Some of them, you know, like whatever. And anyway, when I wasn't feeling it, you know, I'd come in, I'd be really depressed. And I'd be like, oh, you don't have to smile, Jason. You don't have to put on... And as soon as I make eye contact with people, it's like instantly I can feel the smile come on my face. And I just want to, like... I don't know, I said it before, like, I just want to... It makes me want to tear my face off. Because it wasn't authentic. Like, it was like, I don't know, you guys really do make me feel good. I don't know. This is a lot different. Plus, I don't actually have to make eye contact here. I don't know. Maybe I have more sense of control here too. I have no idea. 10 whole minutes. What did I miss? Oh, you know, anticlimacticism. You missed the height of the anticlimacticism, Jake. It got really chillaxed for a second. No, I'm gonna. It's about to get even more chillaxed. Here we go. You missed the height of the anticlimacticism. It got really chillaxed for a second. No, I'm gonna. It's about to get even more chillaxed. Here we go. I'm going to play that. Again, I just want to remind people that this was recorded. I just listened to this for the first time yesterday. The Dirty Dozen. And I'm going to play that. It doesn't sound like it was recorded in September of 1929. Dirty Dozen. It feels like it was, it feels like Johnny B. Good to me, is what it sounded like to me. Or and that's like 50s, right? I don't know, or 60s? It just seems like way ahead of its day. I don't know. Or maybe I'm wrong, and because I don't know music very well. But let's do it, Austin. We'll beam Austin Serrano into the echo chamber. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it to heck. Let me take my pill first. I still haven't done that. Let's do it. Let me take my pill first. I still haven't done that. I like your mama, I like your sister too. I know, right? I'm gonna die of AIDS at this rate. Well, I can tell you that after 4 days without the pill, while I was in the hospital, they drew my blood. They didn't have my medication available for me when they dragged me off to the psych hospital, right? Well, the only time I've ever had a viral blip, a blip in my viral load is when I was under acute medical care. What does that tell you? Oh, touch is really important. Touch is, yeah, it's really important. That was why, part of the reason why the thought of, like, bareback, or never having bareback sex again, like, was kind of, like, I don't know, it was devastating. That was my first thought when I found out I had HIV, and, it wasn't true, right? There was a time it probably was true, right? And it just, but, just the idea that I'd never have my dick touched again, you know, or at least touched by other people's genitals, that, like, that was a really depressing thought. Because, like, the last thing I had really, information I had learned about HIV was in 1997. I was in high school, and there was an assembly in the gym, and there was a married couple. They were both HIV positive, and they explained to us that, you know, well, medications would keep people alive then, right? And then, but they explained to us that they couldn't have sex, unprotected sex, even with each other, even though they were both HIV positive, because there were fears at that time that, because the virus always mutates in other people's bodies, that they could keep giving each other's virus back and forth and create like this super virus, right? And so there was concern about that. So that was my first thought, is like, even HIV positive people, I can never have bareback sex ever again. You know, it turns out 10 years makes a difference. And now they know that when medications keep a person that's HIV positive, their viral load undetectable, that they can't transmit the virus at all. There's like a bunch of doctors that signed this big consensus statement and said that the risk is negligible, and their definition of negligible means not worth mentioning. It's not worth mentioning the risk that I pose of giving HIV. I think doctors use, negligible, can sound not certain, right? But I think it's only because they're so careful about certainty that they have to use that word. But I like their definition, like, not worth mentioning, to me means that I don't have to tell people that I'm HIV positive. Like, I mean, I do tell people, but I wouldn't have to. And I think the laws should reflect that. If a person is taking care of their health, they shouldn't be put in, and they don't pose a risk to anybody, they shouldn't be put in jail for having sex. There's like 800 people that are HIV positive sitting in jail right now for having sex. And, what else? I don't know. I'm going to get HIV tattooed on my left breast, because, I don't know, to even embrace stigma, everybody should wear that, in scarlet letters, of course. And that way, no one can falsely accuse me of not telling them, like, after the fact. Because everybody who's HIV positive is really vulnerable. Like, I mean, if you want to be perfect, if you really want to be safe, you probably should have, like, a notary, sign that you, that you informed every partner. You should have your partner, you should have witnesses have your partner sign the fact. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, probably. If you don't, it's okay too. And it's funny. My physician assistant, and my social worker at the infectious disease clinic, my therapist, and all these people, like, really suggest to me that, because you come in and you're all in tears about all this shit, right? And they're like, and they just tell, like, all those people told me, well, it's really a choice whether you want to tell people, and to me, Oh, of course, it always is a choice, right? But they're giving people advice that can land them in prison for a long time. It's, yeah, I don't know. I think it's, maybe in an ideal world, that's but like I don't think, especially professionals, shouldn't be advising that. Yeah, after the pill, let me call you, Austin. I promise. Well, if you're using needles with people, then you're certainly at risk, and I'd urge you to consider PrEP. And you're still at risk for Hep C, but they can cure that, and you're definitely be at much lower. Like PrEP has really only been studied for sex, but I bet you it would work pretty well for. It'd be better than nothing. All right, down the hatch. 201. All right, wait, first, I'll do my bit. Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist by Mouth Daily. This is pill number 201. The pill is Triumag. It's a once-a-day pill containing 3 medications, abacavir, dolutegravir, and lamivudine. Together, they work in concert to suppress the replication of the HIV virus within my system. I get up on the Book of Face in front of friends, family, and strangers on the daily or on the nightly in order to embrace stigma and hopefully dispel ignorance and find support. And yeah, thanks. Pill 201 down the hatch. And I take that back. I wouldn't urge you to do one thing or the other. I think I just tell you that it's available. Because no one likes to be told what to do. I don't. Lucas says I eat stigma. I see that. I see it, Lucas. I see it. Lucas says I eat stigma. I see that. I see it, Lucas. I see it. I don't know. What time is it there now? It's 5 in the morning. Dang. Many things are available. 5 in the morning. Dang. Many things are available. Austin, let's do this. Shit. Alright. We're gonna beam Austin into the echo chamber. Yeah, it's gonna work really well. Austin, let's do it. We're gonna beam Austin into the echo chamber. Except, I let the batteries die in the transporter. You'll never survive the pattern bug version unless we replace the batteries. Don't let me forget to turn off the transporter this time. Dang it to heck. These C batteries are expensive too. It's only 8 p.m. Nice, Damien. How is work? So this time probably works better for you, actually. 'Cause I think you've said before you miss it because you're at work. So this time probably works better for you, actually. I think you've said before you miss it because you're at work. Like, this is going to be the most successful matter energy transport process guest arrival that we've had yet. He's still at his house yet, so you can't hear him. He doesn't make any noise. So, all right, here we go. This is gonna work amazing. This is Austin Serrano. He's an artist, and he's just a cool dude. So yeah, here we go. You ready? All right, we're gonna beam him in right from his house here. Here we go. All right, here we go. Go gadget transporter. There he is. There he is. Let's get him out of there. Let's get him out of there. All right, here we go. Hey Austin, here we'll get you up there. He's tiny. It's like Wonka vision, you know, like they shrink when they get here. We'll put him through the taffy stretcher. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's tiny. It's like Wonka vision, you know, like they shrink when they get here. We'll put him through the taffy stretcher. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Mo. Sorry, Austin.
No, you're good.
Let's see. This is not working. Okay, here we go. That was... It didn't break, I don't think.
This is one of the best part of the show. It's so unscripted, but so comedic.
Especially that noise I just made. What the fuck? Alright, here we go. There, perfect. Oh my god. Especially that noise I just made. What the fuck? Alright, here we go.
Jason is the social scientist. Number 201, if I'm correct.
Yes, and you said you were here since pill 147. That's awesome.
Pill 147. It was. I'm pretty sure it was shortly after the I Love Lucy edition, because that's when I first. That's when I first like started onto your show.
Okay, sure.
First seen it, and it was practically just because I was pretty much just tripping balls in a basement. And I came across it, and you were playing your keyboard, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing!"
You're using play in the loosest possible sense of the word.
yeah, right. But if anybody's listening out there, like I was telling Jason earlier, I appreciate what he's doing because he's very brave. As someone with the condition HIV, it's not easy for someone to come out and just talk about their daily life, let alone let us into pretty much your living room. And that's an incredible thing. So I'm letting you guys into my little safe space and I don't know, talk about a few things. Like I like your daily communion with your people, you know, the cannabis and everything. And like one thing I like to brush on, especially when it comes to like cannabis use and everything, it's not what everybody makes it out to be nowadays, or well, what they used to make it out to be. Because I get into a lot of arguments with people online that pretty much I'm not going to call out like Republicans or say any specific names, but especially like what's going on with Jeff Sessions saying that good people don't smoke marijuana, and that's an absolute fallacy. That's so stupid for somebody to say.
It's such a simplistic idea, really. I mean, it's
Exactly.
It's a childish idea. I don't know. I don't know. This idea that like good, you know, like you can like there's a litmus test for being good. You know, like if you do this, you're bad. You're bad, and you know, like I don't know. I don't know. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the same thing like with the stigma of HIV. Is like people with an outside look of it think, oh, well, they're disgusting. They had a choice. Well, it's not always the case. You know, it's not written in white or black and white. It's just not that simple.
Well, and they're judging people for like basic human behavior. It's I think the people that like hate, like okay, for instance, like when I express the idea that I don't think, because the treatment's advanced so far, that people who are HIV positive shouldn't have to tell their partners that they're about their medical status, like that's and it's like the people are, the fear is so so ingrained, and I think the people that react the most strongly are the people that engage in unprotected sex. Like they're taking risk, and they're like, wait a minute, like that, it hits too close to home. How many people have engaged in unprotected sex? And they just got lucky.
Portion of the population.
Yeah, and they just got lucky that they didn't get it, right? I mean, anybody,
exactly.
Anybody could get it, and so by judging, and it's like judging a person for catching the cold or catching the chicken pox. It's like, and herpes is another example. Like, there's a whole cluster of herpes viruses, like chicken pox, and I don't know, like all the pox viruses, like
type 1, which each human being, although there are some numbers of people that don't have that in them, but herpes simplex type 1 is in every single human being. It's what causes cold sores and etc.
Yeah, it's in a lot. It's a lot of people. It's in a lot of people, and a lot of people have it and never experience symptoms, or have symptoms so minor that they think that they don't ever get it diagnosed or treated because they didn't. They think, but there are growing, because we understand cold sores better. This is what came, like one of the infectious disease doctors, because I ended up getting HSV1, like the ones that cause cold sore. I got that on my ass, right? Right after I was 3 months after I was diagnosed with HIV, I caught HSV1 on my ass. Like, people who are with HIV are much more susceptible, and she was saying that because they understand cold sores more, a lot of people, there's a whole generation of people that aren't exposed to, younger people that aren't exposed to HSV1 when they're younger, and so there are people like genital HSV1 is more common than it used to be, and because people, when you're older, you get a much stronger reaction, I guess. So if you get HSV1 on your genitals, it's much more painful, but a lot less likely to come back, I guess. I have no idea. So
one thing I was dealing with a couple years back was a minor was an STD, and it was called trichomonas, and I had absolutely no clue what it was. Never heard of it. They said it's a pretty rare thing, and the way that my family looked at me was pretty crazy. It's like I grew up in the South, and if you know anything about the South and pretty like the Republicans or whatever, like it's a very masculine tone. So pretty much the goal of most of that generation is to go out, sleep with as many women as you can, and then when that happens, we're not prepared for something like that. And yes, it was very minor, very treatable, but it's the fact that I didn't have the knowledge then to know that that was a thing. I could have properly prepared myself if I had that form of education. And a lot of the things that, a lot of bad things that are happening, especially with the South due to education and stuff, is like, we're not offered sex ed in many schools in the South, and that is significant. Most kids are, growing up teens, they need some form of sex ed to educate, and that's why I like your show so much, is to reduce the stigma. You look, hey, I'm a normal person. Don't look at me like I'm some piece of garbage. I'm a normal person with aspirations, with goals in my life. And to me, Jason, you are achieving your goals. I don't know you on a personal level, so I don't know what your personal life consists of, but you have the show, and like I said, there was one night where I seen, what was it, around 9,000 views or something. That's awesome, dude.
My biggest one is probably 26,000 views.
Oh yeah, see, that's awesome. That's why I said, if you and I've mentioned this before a couple times, t-shirts, dang it to heck t-shirts. If you go online, you can find certain websites that you can buy graphic tees in bulk. So you could pay, I think it's up to $60, and you can get 20 or 30 graphic tees with a custom print on it.
No,
if you were to ever do anything like that, I would most definitely buy a t-shirt. I would buy a Dang It to Heck t-shirt, and I would wear it everywhere. And the greatest thing that I see about this is, like, I don't know if you really realize what you've created, but you've created a new platform of video, of live streaming, and that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see the potential in it, but I see a massive amount of potential in what you're doing.
It feels like a revolution. It really does. Like, it's a
Yeah, exactly. And like since the first video, I was like, man, this guy has something awesome that nobody else is doing. Yeah, you're live streaming, but you're letting people into your home. You're letting them have a discussion with you, and it was awesome. Like, the first time, I think, when you commented or reacted on video towards me when I left a comment, it was a pretty crazy feeling. Like, it was like getting a shot of dopamine right in your chest, like, oh my god, like, this guy actually responded to what I said. That's awesome.
Oh, no, that's really cool. Like, that's what I want it to be. Like, I want this, because this is certainly my soapbox. Like, and I want it to be everybody's soapbox. Like, I just put the lens up so we can see who's commenting here, and I read comments whenever. I don't skip any comments. Like, sometimes I get busy doing other shit, or I get distracted, or whatever. Like, but I want to be able to give voice to what you guys say, and now this next step where you're here now. You're actually, we beamed you in. You're actually in the but like just the fact that we can talk to you and see you, and you can talk to me, and like I watched this thing on like this digital art studio because my kids want me to be a YouTuber, right? They're always like want me to play video games, and they were like. They were talking about how like the big revolution with YouTube was that when people put up their videos, they get the comments come immediately, and people like for their next video will like the audience and the people making the video shape shape it together, and like this is like a progression of that. Like it's not, you guys shape it in real time now, right? You know, like where the comments are happening while it's being made, and I don't know, yeah, it just. I really like. I think it can really, it can change. I don't know where it will go, but it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. The only thing I would have to say with a YouTube platform is I don't know where it will go, but I think it's pretty cool. Because the fact that you do like partake or whatever, they might restrict you in some ways. So if you plan on ever switching over to YouTube, if you do partake in the consumption of anything, do it off camera. Because if you do it off camera, you can still gain sponsorships from certain places. And the fact that you're doing this for HIV awareness, you could actually be funded by HIV awareness groups.
If it means compromising the content of the show, I think the substance use is an important part of it for me. It really is.
Oh yeah, I believe so too.
And I would cut out the substance use for the show, like a different show, like a show that was purely entertainment. And I would, and I hope to have a show. I really want to, but for this show in particular, this show about stigma reduction, the stigma of substance use is as great, probably greater than HIV even, because people don't feel sorry for drug users. You know, people at least feel sorry for me, and at least if you have HIV, it's even a free pass to use drugs, I think. But but people, in more than one ways, probably.
Probably.
But like, I would do it like if I was doing the show, just because I think about like this is it's sort of like Pee-wee's Playhouse, but like what I think is different about this show is like the forced perspective shit. I don't think anybody's really ever done that in a real time live way, and I think that also is like another big aspect of how the show is different. If I'm gonna you got me toot my own horn here. Thank you, Austin.
Yeah, no problem. And one thing too like I was telling you earlier, I started watching your show, and I kind of got the courage to, start making my own stuff. And I do have a little bit of help when it comes to stuff, because my fiance, her brother, is going to film school right now, and he's on break right now, so at the moment he's letting me use all of his filming equipment, like I'm using a tripod right now for the camera. I have this mic set. I have a bunch of other mic sets, so I'm gaining inspiration from you to start something on my own end, and with my videos in general, like, we're going to go over politics, we're going to go over psychedelics, we're going to go over drugs, and we're going to go over drug facts, things to show people and try to let people understand what they're about. Like, one of the main thing and I try to explain to people is the use of psychedelics. It's crazy how our government treats things like that, because if I would have never consumed anything like that, I would have never gained all the information that I have now. I suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I was abused at a young age a lot, and one of the things, again, with like some of my videos and talking about psychedelics, is the fact that if I would have never taken something like that, I would have never been able to sit down, look at what upsets me with the PTSD, because with PTSD you gain flashbacks, and the flashbacks with PTSD is not like what you hear about, like, old army veterans that go on a fritz and like whip out their gun and start shooting. That's not necessarily the case with flashbacks. Flashbacks, it's like some mornings, I'll get up and I'll have a looped image that runs through my head. It just plays over and over, almost like a song stuck in your head. And with the use of certain psychedelics, I have almost pretty much destroyed that. Like, I'm not having the same issues as I had before due to that. And other things I'd like to discuss when it comes to psychedelics is not everybody can use them. I know people like me and other people that enjoy them want everybody to feel it, but they're really not for everybody to use and to try. Mainly, especially when it comes to this, because I was dealing with this not too long ago. I had a friend of mine that we all partook, and afterwards, like during the middle of us and our peak, she decided to get up and leave. Just, like, get in her car and leave, and that terrified me, because you never know what can happen. You don't know how they're going to respond. And then later on that night, I was sitting there with my friend's girlfriend, and she told me that I don't know why she got in the car. If she got pulled over, she's already got a heart condition. As soon as I heard that she had a heart condition, it freaked me out, because I would have never condoned the use of it when knowing that she had a heart condition, because with something like that, you shouldn't be taking a psychedelic. You can go into cardiac arrest. You don't know exactly what could happen or the effects that can happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be responsible for that, for sure.
Yeah, safe use, because it other people messing up, thinking that it's just this party drug and that you can just take it, and it's not necessarily for fun. For some of us, it's very introspective. It helps us look at some of the issues we face in our day-to-day lives and give us clarity. And for those that abuse things like that, it's a completely different story. You're pushing a lot of stigma onto the people that actually use it for medicine, and it's a smack in the face, really. It really is.
Well, I do like it recreational, and I think
of course, it is fun.
Like, if you like in particular with the mental illness, though, I think you raise a good point about I think in general, there, like, mental illness. There's a lot of common features with mental illness, like this idea of repetition, like it's like almost like a hyperactivity in the brain, which even depression is like this hyperactivity in the brain. It's you keep having the same negative thought over and over and over again. Like, it's just like you get your brain and like when with fear, especially like like when trauma happens, it's it's our brain's natural. It works naturally to like avoid negative stimulus. Like if something was really negative, our brain puts a lot of attention on that. If we're really afraid or really hurt, like in order to avoid that in the future, it gets burned very strongly in our brain, right? And because of that, like you can, like this pathway in the brain keeps going over. I think that's what happens with trauma. And psychedelics do kind of like, it's almost like a reset where it's like maybe you can, like, instead of going down that same path, like you have, like, it opens up that possibility to like think another way. And and so I think that, that's for me, suicidal ideation was like that. Like after my, like I get this mantra that I couldn't turn off, and I can't imagine if it's like something like a traumatic event that you're visually seeing. It's like a living hell, I imagine. And
the main thing too is a lot of the stigma behind it is like I get a lot of lack back when I talk about my PTSD, and a lot of people think that PTSD is only contributed by seeing action, pretty much going to war, and that's not true. I mean, our brains don't just think, okay, I went to war, I have PTSD now. That's just not how it works. Like you said, it's a traumatic experience that sticks with somebody.
I think there's a lot of risk. Like I took, in this, when I was a nurse on the psychiatric unit, like we learn about nonviolent crisis intervention, and there was a trauma-informed version of that, right? Where, because you can't do the same things to traumatized individuals as you can to other, like if somebody, if a woman has a history of sexual abuse, perhaps it's probably best not to have men be the ones that are working with her, or intervening.
Exactly.
So in that they just talk about trauma, like what is it, like, because two people can go through, they have the same injury, right, or the same injurious, they can suffer the same injury. One person can walk away from it perfectly fine, like can sleep the next night, nothing, and the other person is traumatized. And what is the difference? And there's risk factors, like you never can tell for sure, but one of the big risk factors is repeated injuries. Like if it happens over and over again, it's more likely to that these injuries end up causing a trauma like this, where or like a feeling of loss of control, or like you're helpless. Like if you, even no matter how bad the circumstances is, if you feel like you're an agent in it, you have some control over your fate, you're more likely to like not feel traumatized. But if you feel like something's being done to you, that's another risk factor. And I forget, there's other risk factors, but trauma is real. I feel like I'm traumatized, just because. Like my dad died in 2006. My mom died in 2007, and then I was then I had a really difficult time coming out to the world as bisexual, and then I suffered physical, like domestic abuse from my wife, and then I caught HIV, and like every time I feel like I can stand up, I get knocked on my ass again, and now it's just like I can't even, like I'm shell shocked. It feels like.
And that's the sad part about it too, is usually you look at family as the people you can go to in times of need, but in reality, some of those people are the worst people you can go to, because those people are going to be the most judgmental. And like in your case, I can see like the moment that you found out that you had caught HIVs, that could be attributed as a traumatizing experience, because whenever I found out that I had something minor, it destroyed me. Like it didn't last. I mean, that feeling didn't last too long, because like I said, it was very treatable. A pill and I think some oil, and I was good. But in your experience, I could understand where that would come from, a traumatic experience. That in general is huge, but the fact that you're working with it, the fact that you're doing what you are is completely incredible. Not very many people have that or want that, and it's absolutely amazing.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's helping me. I think it really is. It's my wife.
It's therapy.
My wife told me just a couple days ago that Alex, my 6-year-old, like spontaneously said to her, like things are so much better now that Daddy's doing the show. I don't know. I think just seeing me happy, I think, is like they haven't seen that for a while. Like it's been a rough road for a little bit. So, that's good. Like, and the fact that it's spontaneous, like, I don't know, it makes me feel good. Like it's not completely selfish what I'm doing either. Like it's helping me and other people around me, including my family.
Oh yeah. Like I said, all I've been doing is watching and taking examples from you and applying it to my life, and it is helping. I'm not trying to sit here and jerk your own cock. It's just.
I mean, that's all right. That's allowable too. And I'm just kidding. Everything's okay in the echo chamber.
But it is inspiring to see someone come out and to be frank with people. Like, look, I'm not this. Don't look at me like this. I'm a person.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I am this, but I'm also a person. Like I think in a lot of ways, I defy expectations. Like both. Well, I mean, I think most people like don't expect to see me as a professional. Wouldn't expect that I'm a professional, and that I've had like a career of sorts. And then most people wouldn't expect that I'm married. Most people wouldn't expect that I have kids. And then once they hear that, they probably write a pretty negative narrative about how that happened. And and then like I don't know. I just think that.
Do you have like a polyamorous relationship?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a couple friends that are like that.
And it's sort of like it. We didn't the first 7 years of our marriage, and then like I guess I won't retell the whole story right now, but like yeah, we just had we had some negative or some difficult years in our marriage, and that's when I decided to like that I wanted a polyamorous relationship, that I wanted to explore the other side of my sexuality. I mean, she was aware that it existed. Like, she always knew. Before we were in a couple, she knew that I was bisexual. I don't know. I just feel like people just probably assume the worst about me. And then, I don't know, I think hopefully that when people get to, like, I don't know, hopefully people can learn from that everybody will defy your expectations, right? Like, no one, like, I don't think there aren't bad guys, there aren't good guys. There's just people that, like, I don't know, that don't know better. Like, I think people are always trying to do the best that they can. Even the people that seem like they're doing, like they just, they're, I don't know. If people could really understand the full scope of and consequences of their actions, they wouldn't engage in the behavior that they engage in, I think, right? Like I think if people knew a better way, they'd take a better way. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and that's the main thing is too, is like I like to explain to people is, let's say you do know like a shitty person that has been through a lot of stuff, that has a serious drug abuse problem. You have to see what got them there. You have to see what brought them to that point. Just to criminalize them and demonize them, to say that, oh, well, they're messed up, they chose their life, and that is correct to a degree. They did choose their life, but there are things that happened in their life that made them into that person. So to completely demonize that person for, having a drug abuse problem, look to see where that came from, what made them, whether it be abuse at home or whether it be a stressful environment. People are susceptible to messing up due to their environment, and especially when it comes down to how you, not necessarily how you were raised, but the environment you were raised in. Like with me, I've been both middle class and poor. I've been homeless and, with a home. And a lot of my family have looked down at me, and I explained to them, look at what I've been through. I've been through a lot. Like, in my life in general, like, this is why I want to make more videos, and this is why you've inspired me, is because I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. From a very young age, my parents were not in a good relationship. I moved back and forth from Georgia to Ohio at least 12 times just in elementary. So if you look at that example, like when it comes especially like with education, to you it may seem like I am very well educated, and that's not the case. I dropped out of high school. But the thing is, like, I didn't have a set education. I didn't have the family, or what is it? I didn't have a household structure to keep me educated in a way, if you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Like, I hate intellectual elitism, and I wouldn't ever assume anybody is educated or not. I think that some of the great genius can hide in any corner, right? Like, and I like to say that, you know, because some people.
Oh, he's hiding in this corner.
he's out in the open right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to like Albert Einstein, like he like in this picture of him right now, it says on the top, wisdom is not a product of schooling, but a lifelong attempt to acquire it. And that's like 100% true. Just because a school doesn't define who you are going to be as a person, and don't let that drive you.
I like to say, especially for intellectual elitists, there's a lot of people that act like that genius was invented in college, right, or in the university, and it's the exact opposite. Like, genius is invented the university. Like, there, like intelligence doesn't come from the school. Like, it's given to the school by people, and I don't know. I just think if like some of the greatest minds, but you know, especially back in the day, like they came from lowly places, right? Like, I don't know. Just watching Cosmos, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I don't know. I don't know, what was it? One dude, I forget. Like I don't know. Anyway,
is it the Cosmos?
Yeah, like the series with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. Which episode or do you think you're referring to? Because I'm pretty sure I've watched all the Cosmos episodes, so I may be able to help out.
It's like this guy. He was the apprentice of this other dude, and I think he made the electric engine, or like figured out the principles between, you know, like to convert like flowing electricity into like circular. I don't know, into are you referring
to Nikola Tesla?
I wouldn't know the name probably even if you said it, but like like after he'd done that, like the person that was he was apprenticing for was pissed off at him, so he made him try to like replicate this glass, like this for lenses or something like that the Dutch were using, and like he spent years and years and years not being able to do it, and then he saved that piece of glass, and with that he was like able to prove he used that glass in an experiment, like I don't know. I forget what it was, but like the point is, like he was basically a slave or something, right? You just like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm rambling now. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But it's definitely a crazy world out there, especially with like these past elections, and like I try not to get too much onto the topic. It's just like when it comes to Donald Trump, I mean, as I grew up with him, and from a very young age, I'm only 22 years old, so I grew up with him being the dick in the entertainment industry. You fight it. You know what I'm saying? And when I seen that he was running for president, it was immediately I was like, absolutely not. He doesn't have any of the credentials, and the fact that he actually won completely shocks me just from the fact. And another thing that kind of annoys me is when people say that they like him because he's not a politician. And that is absolutely crazy. Yes, we understand he's not a politician. So how do you expect him to be able to run if he's not a politician?
Yeah, like the thing that I really remember him for. Excuse me. When I was a kid, like, you know, in the 80s, was he really, like, remember him for going bankrupt. I really do. Like, that's what, let's see. hang on one second. And then I don't know, when the show Apprentice comes out, I'd always think back to that. Like, I just remember seeing him in the news as like a failure, and it's like, why did these people just keep failing upwards? Like you get to this certain stage, like in your career, like we only hold poor people accountable for anything. Like everybody else, like rich, like CEOs, they get CEOs get golden parachutes. Politicians never get prosecuted. Police never get prosecuted. Like, I don't know. And
that's why I try to explain to people like how the level of corruption we're dealing with, like especially when it comes to Trump, and like I tried to explain to multiple people, like because a lot of like I grew up with Republican family. I grew up in a Republican household, and they wanted him because he was against the corporations and he was trying to drain the swamp and this and that. But that is the complete opposite of what he was doing. Look who he's brought in. He's brought in Rex Tillerson. He's brought in Betsy DeVos. The conflict of interest when it comes to Rex Tillerson, he's big oil. He was the CEO of Exxon. Therefore, the way I look at it is Trump brought him in so he can start manipulating laws and regulations, with oil. And like the same thing with like Betsy DeVos. That's a conflict of interest too. Betsy DeVos, if for those out there that don't really know who Betsy DeVos is, Betsy DeVos's family is filthy rich. Her family owns a massive college debt collection agency, and we all know that student loans is an absolute scam. And for those that disagree, for those that made it through and could pay for that, good for you. You had the opportunity. Not all of us get that same opportunity to go through and do things like that. I would love the opportunity to be able to just breeze through school, but that's not the case for me. But back to what I was saying is, like, there's 2 points of conflicts of interest: big oil and education. That is massive. That is a huge problem. Big oil wants a decrease on regulations so they can, in my eyes, do what they need to do to get business done. And we both know that that's shady,
Well, go ahead. Well, I think that the reason you mentioned why Trump got elected, and I think you said people want to drain the swamp, right, or something, or like they want to get rid of the corruption. Like, I really think the reason, like, I think he got elected because people like are really hurting much more than that's reflected in our television or in our news broadcasts. Like
entertainment.
Yeah, like we are suffering a Great Depression that's not on. I have my own Great Depression, right? Or I'm like my own mental health depression. But this country, I think, even back in the 2000s, watching movies like Bowling for Columbine, places like Flint, Michigan, like the Rust Belt, Detroit, and. Like, even, people are being priced out of housing, and, people are...
gerrymandering.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
And people, having to, the next generation is still living with their families. We're going back to multi-generational houses because people just can't afford to live on their, it's...
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, look at what if I want to go get a place right now, I have to pay my rent, and depending on where you live, like especially in Ohio, a 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bathroom, with no, no laundry or washer and dryer is about $450. Okay, well, let's get on the basis of how I'm supposed to live. Okay, I'm supposed to pay rent, I'm supposed to pay car insurance, I'm supposed to pay health insurance, I'm supposed to pay a phone bill, and I'm supposed to pay for all these things. And as a young person that doesn't really have much, that's a hell of a lot more than I thought it was going to be. My ideal plan was to buy land, build a house, create a renewable energy source, and that's just not the case anymore. Like, a lot of people that are trying to switch to renewable energy are getting flushed out of their neighborhoods, or getting lack back from the power industry, or the power companies and everything, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I keep seeing videos of like people that, like, what was it? There was this one guy that went and bought a plot of land. He bought a trailer and he lived out there. Like, he had a well, like, for well water, and he had solar panels. And I think at least a year after he moved into his lot and everything, the city and the state came out and said that where he lived was, they condemned his house. And if you've seen in the video his house, it looked like a normal trailer. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. Plumbing, the whole 9 yards, and they condemned his property. And they seized all of his assets and took everything away. And one of the biggest controversies was over that was because he was not linked to any gas companies. He wasn't linked to any power companies. He wasn't linked to any water companies. So in their eyes, he wasn't contributing. And I think that's absolute BS. You're targeting people that are trying to get off of the grid. And that is crazy. Another issue I'd like to brush past is like the industrialized prison complex. Like, that is a serious issue going on in America right now. We have 85% more prisons than any other country in the entire world. Yeah, and that is crazy, because the prison population has dramatically increased since the 80s.
It's disgusting.
That is
really
a real issue.
For profit. It's a modern day slavery. It's blood money, and we should be ashamed of ourselves, really.
Yeah,
and we're all complicit in it, and everybody celebrates it like it's a fucking joke about how people get raped in prison. Like, it's a fucking joke that people think that's funny. It's really one of the most disgusting things about and we're all complicit in it. You know, that's one thing that really upsets me.
Oh yeah, and like, I don't know, like, especially when it comes to, like, drug laws, like, it depends on which drug you're using. Like, I don't condone the use of cocaine and, you know, some of these other hard drugs, but the drugs out there that are told, you know, to us by our government that are deadly, let's say, like, I mean, the times are changing. Like, psilocybin mushrooms, they're starting to treat cancer patients. They're starting to use ketamine treatments for people with serious depression. They're starting to, right now, if you don't know about the people, I would try to get involved. Not like in donations or whatever, but it's called MAPS, and MAPS is a psychedelic research group, and they've been around since I think the 70s. And they just got a $5 million grant, pretty much just a $5 million check to go into research with MDMA for treating PTSD. And what's shocking, the evidence that's shocking, is 86% of the patients that go through these treatments come out with absolutely no sign of PTSD, and no other drug anywhere has produced those same effects. And it's crazy what people out on, you know, normal people, everyday people you talk to, or try to talk to about this on the streets. Oh, it's a dangerous drug. Our government doesn't know what it's trying to do, or yada yada. It's like, what are you talking about? You're letting people die from opiate uses. You're not saying anything about that. You want to throw those people in prison and take away their kids without trying to understand what got them to that point. It's just crazy. It really is. Especially like when you see people's family gets ripped apart for like a marijuana possession charge. I know quite a few people that have had their kids taken just because the cops came in. They didn't even have any weed on them. The cops came in, they seen a bong in their bedroom on the floor, and they said that it was a child endangerment, so they took their kids.
It depends where you live. Like, I think, like in Dane County, it's a really liberal place, and I've talked about my behavior with my 2 psychiatrists and my therapist and my social worker, and they all said I had nothing to worry about, like, based on what I was telling them. And
you're using it as a treatment for yourself. yourself.
Well, I mean, it's illegal here, but weed is decriminalized in the city of Madison.
Yeah, same as Ohio.
And I don't know. I think, I don't know. I don't endorse the use of any drug.
Yeah,
but
you do it safely.
yeah, harm reduction. That's what, to me, that's what it's all about. Like, because people are going to do what they're going to do, and I think by throwing people in prison, by stigmatizing people, by by trying to take away their drugs. I think people just give people their drugs. Like the ones that are more dangerous, make them go and get a prescription for a doctor and sign a waiver that says that they understand the risks and how they can best keep themselves safe if they're going to use the drug. Make it not a big deal. Like, I don't know, like people would choose the safer drugs probably, and in the end, I don't know, like there wouldn't be the black market. You wouldn't be funding. There wouldn't be there'd be a lot less illegal arms trade. There'd be a lot less.
Exactly.
I don't know. There'd be a lot less broken families. You got a whole generation of, especially young black men. They talk about the generation missing from the streets. Like everybody, that has.
Yeah, for every one graduate, there is 20 of those people in prison. For every one graduate.
And that is intentional. Like, there's a couple good PBS series or episodes about the prison system. I think it was Frontline from last year, a couple years ago, and even it starts in childhood, like in grade school. Like they're set up like in the inner cities. They're set up with metal detectors, and I don't know. It's I forget. I'd recommend that. Because I'm not going to be able to give a good synopsis of it, but I'd recommend it. And then, yeah, I don't know. And then people never have an opportunity. Once you get thrown into the system, you never, it affects your ability to get a job and
you literally just criminalize. You demonize that person. What you're doing is, how I see it is, they're trying to fund themselves. They're trying to fund their own jobs. Criminalizing these people. You're putting them in an institution so you can have cheap labor work and producing, profits, like for-profit industries and stuff. And it's pretty ridiculous. We have a large amount of people that don't understand that there is systematic racism that is going on in our country. That's why I don't trust police, and a lot of people, come at me for that. They're like, "Oh, blue lives matter." I don't disagree that these people lives matter. What I'm saying is that people have prejudices, and when you take a job like that, we need to make sure you have absolutely no prejudices.
Well, and the real danger is they're not held accountable. If that's like the blue shield or whatever. That's what really makes police dangerous, because they're
protected behind a shield.
Yeah, like if they're not afraid of any consequence, there's no reason, there's no incentive not to use excessive force. Sure. Like, I don't understand the stresses that these people are under. I don't, but I can imagine, and I do. I have empathy for the situation. Both police and criminals are put in this pressure cooker situation. They're turned against each other. I don't know, they're set against each other, let's say. And I don't know, but we have to revise our laws a lot, and I don't know. Right now, it's worrisome, this Jeff Sessions, right, and Trump, this push to go backwards, especially on marijuana. I think they'll have a tough fight on their hands, though.
He's already getting lacked back. Like, he got a letter. This is I'm pretty sure at least a month or 2 months ago, where he came out and he said, I don't understand why I'm getting so much flack on the crackdown of marijuana, and people retaliated back is because we have solid evidence that there are hundreds of medical properties. There are 250,000 different textile uses. If you opened up the cannabis industry in the United States, you are creating millions of jobs. That's not even accounting the millions and billions of dollars in revenue from each state going back into the states. Like
these states are heavily invested, and they are not going to go down without a fight.
Big Pharma and all these other massive corporations that want nothing but money. They don't care about their patients. They care about money.
Yeah, there's big weed now. Now that there's big weed, it's safe and it's spreading. Like, weed is going to spread like a weed. It's a ridiculous fight. It might be a fight as a distraction, even. Like, it really, like, it's probably now you can't distract from what's happening now. You can't distract from Robert Mueller and all these memos, and you can't, like, you can't distract from the current situation. But, especially when this crackdown first started, you're going to have people up in arms about the weed, and they're like, "Why? We don't care about boring cyber crimes by Russia, or whatever." I think they're cold and calculating, these bastards. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And Sessions too. Like, he coordinated with the Russians too. I hope he goes to fucking jail.
Oh yeah, I hope he. I mean, the fact that Martin Luther King's wife wrote a letter to the Supreme Court saying, "Do not let him on." He is a big proponent for racism. He has been pushing, and someone came back at me for saying, what I'm saying. They were like, "Well, he's a product of his generation, and I can understand that, and that's exactly why he shouldn't be in the position he is, because he is a product of his generation, a product of a generation based on racism, and that should not be allowed."
Awesome. Ben Wood has a question. He says, how do you guys think that individual people can change the current situation?
Get more involved. Start showing people that you actually care. Start doing what is morally correct. Don't go with what everybody else is saying, because everybody has their own opinions about things, but the main thing is, like, guidelines. Okay, corruption. Let's move away from corruption. I didn't like Hillary, mainly because, I should probably restart what I was going to say. I didn't go for Hillary solely on the fact that she was already being investigated. The fact that she was being investigated, you should not be allowed to run for any form of public office if you are under investigation. That should have been ruled out completely.
I didn't like her because the people she had surrounded her. She just had the Clinton administration all over again, and basically they're Republicans. A Southern Democrat is a Republican, and that's Bill Clinton to a T. And I don't know. They pushed through so much of the shit that why we're in the situation we are in now. Like repealing the Glass-Steagall Act, like all the shit that FDR put in place to stop like these financial crises, like they removed, and then we had the tech bubble and the mortgage bubble and all this shit. Like, and that's the reason why we're so fucking fucked. And you got all those same people like in the Obama administration. The Obama administration was just Clinton 2.0. And it's too bad. Like that was the real problem with Obama. Is like he was just Clinton, and Hillary. I think I like her ideals, at least the way she articulates them, better than a lot of people. But I don't know. Actions speak louder than words. And
I didn't agree with her because she did flip on policy. She did, and I will not hold you to a high standard if you flip on policy. Once you were for big oil and fracking, and then you flipped on it, and you wanted to go to renewable energy, which I agree on renewable energy because it is the literal smartest choice we could make. I mean, China's investing billions and billions of dollars into renewable energy. But the fact that she flip-flopped on her politics showed that she can be easily manipulated. I was a Bernie supporter solely on the fact they had nothing against him. There was nothing you could bring to the table to use against him. What did you have? Nothing.
I would have been happy to see what he could have done. He probably would have been. He probably would have been assassinated if he would have kept his promises. But
he was like a JFK.
What I think people could do to make things better is just be ready. I think that's be ready because and informed.
Here's logic.
Yeah.
Logic with everything.
Well, because you never know, like, what is going to light the flame or spark the, Robert Kennedy, one of his quotes is about revolution. Like, revolution is coming. Basically it's inevitable, and there, we can't stop it, but we can affect its character. We can, it's like if we're wise enough, it'll be something. Like if we're lucky, it'll be, it'll be peaceful or something, like whatever. I think, I think a great example of, like, you never know what spark, because none of us can. All right, time for the revolution. Like, it's something that just happens. I think, the Arab Spring, which was really a beautiful thing until winter came again. But and we helped bring winter back to Egypt for sure. Like it's all American weapons that fuel the Egyptian army. But like.
What were we saying?
Oh, what sparked not in Egypt but in the whole Arab world, there was like this Tunisian fruit vendor is what sparked the Arab Spring. Like he a police officer the day before had stolen taken his fruit cart or whatever. Like, I don't know what exactly the reasons why, but his only source of income, and so he lit himself on fire the next day as like a public protest. And that like sparked a revolution in Tunisia, and which sparked a revolution through the whole region. And like, so a Tunisian fruit vendor is what sparked the revolution in the Arab world. Who knows what could spark that? Like, what is going to wake people up? I don't know. But like, when people do wake up, we just need a general strike. Like, everybody's just got to stop what they're fucking doing, walk out in the street, just like what happened in Egypt, and like have a list of demands. Like, this is what we want, and we're not going back to work until it happens. Like, and people would move.
The system will be shut down.
Like we are the ones that control things if we want to. But like, I don't know. It just seems like people don't care. Like, it seems like people should have woken up a long time ago. That's why I'm a big supporter of bringing the draft back. Like make people invested. Like, make their, take their children. Like, if that's what's going to take, like, people have to feel like a reason to care, I guess.
Yeah. People need reason to care, and I don't know. As a young person, it's very difficult to come to terms with, like, how would I say, how massive or how crazy this world really is. I mean, you had an idea of it growing up, but when you were a young adult that's new to the world and seeing how everything really is, you're wondering how the people that have been around longer than you have are still alive, how they have not blown their brains out. To think all this crazy stuff is going on. There are companies using people. I don't know. It's crazy. It's a sad thing to see. It's a sad thing to see our own people turning against us. One thing I did want to brush about, because we talked about, you said something about like people with substance abuse. Let them or give them a way to help with that, or what I was going to say is Canada is now moving closer in steps to preventing things like that. Like, it's kind of shocking to me that they're doing this, but they're going to have prescription heroin, like actual prescription heroin.
It's the way to do it.
And it's to take it out of the drug dealers' hands, and give it to people that need the help. I mean, I don't, condone the use of heroin because it is a serious drug. And it's just that one step taking it closer to preventing criminal organizations being funded, by a harsh drug.
And not to mention all the lives you can save. Like, overdoses, like, an incredible rate. Like, if people have to go to their doctor to go get heroin, the doctor can also give them like a prescription for inhaler of naltrexone. So, people can buddy up and do heroin together. And if somebody overdoses, you use your naltrexone. Like, just like using heroin is probably like swimming. Like, you don't do it. You do it with a buddy and whatever. Like, I don't endorse heroin either, but like, I do endorse keeping people alive and like
doing things safe. I don't agree with it. I don't think you should be doing it. But if you are doing it, I want you to be careful. I want you to not ruin your life, and I want want you to do it safe.
I feel about heroin the same way I feel about religion. Like, do it if you have to, if it helps you cope. But like, I don't endorse it. I don't think it's the greatest idea. Like,
Oh yeah.
John Payne is going to dang the. Oh, thank you, John. I approved a bunch of your requests. That was really nice of you, John. Thank you. He's going to dang the heck out of the show. That's awesome. I hope it doesn't bring about negative consequences to you. If you get a ban once, don't do it anymore, or cut it back a little bit. Like, maybe I'm getting like dinged because they're calling it spam because I'm sharing the show from my own account. But maybe if other people are sharing, like if it's you sharing it, like how could it be considered spam? I don't understand. I don't know, especially since it's not for profit. I'm just a dude, right? Like it's not like it's not being funded by anyone. It's not commercial in any way. There's no money being made. So you can't call it spam, I don't think.
Yeah. So Jason, what was the issue you were having? I seen that something you were kicked off of a group or something.
No. Facebook is like I don't know. I'm guessing that people in a group, like I think anybody can report something as spam. But like so, I think probably more than one person. I don't know. Or it could have been one person doing it a lot or something. Because one report of spam, I was reading about it, won't get you a block, but multiple reports will. So yeah, like the what am I trying to say?
Spam.
So I got all of a sudden I couldn't log into my account, and they wanted me to send a picture of myself, and so I did that, and I got access to my account again. Yeah, and I could post to my timeline and do the live show, but I couldn't share into groups. I couldn't post in groups. I couldn't comment in groups until today. Like it was like a week at least where I couldn't share in groups or anything. So
people being petty, really.
It is shitty. It's lame. Like it's not that hard. Like you could just block it, or if the admins of a group don't like me in there, like boot me from the group. That's fine. That's how Facebook works. That's why those features exist. I don't know.
I believe there's some bit of jealousy too, because like you said, you've raised up to almost 20,000 viewers at one point. Some of those people that are admins of those pages might get a little jealous.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that is the case, but that could be a case.
It's crossed my mind too. Like I wouldn't be so presumptuous. You know, like I think because about myself to say, oh, somebody's jealous of me, that feels like such a egoist thing to say. But it's crossed my mind. You know, like, and it's human nature. But it is petty. Like I hope that I wouldn't do that. Like I mean, come on. Like. Everybody has feelings of jealousy, but like it's what we do with those feelings. Like I think it's more important. Facebook is rather inconsequential, but I think jealousy is a normal human emotion. But like it's had really people in the name of jealousy have done really shitty things to me. Like and I think that's like, and I'm not talking about Facebook here. You know, like and it's not just one person either. Like so, I think. For me, like I think jealousy, it's a powerful emotion. I don't know, and I'm rambling now. Here, I'm gonna go.
It's 100% good, dude. Always, it's good. It's giving us kind of material to work with too.
Anna Valentine's here. What does John say about one? Have a good one, man. It's time to make the donuts. Nice. I want to taste your donuts, man.
So, Jason, how old are you?
I am 38 years old. I'm like an old man now all of a sudden. How about you?
Nice. I am 22. I will be 23 in November.
Nice.
Yes. I'm recently engaged. I got engaged almost a year ago. In June 10th will be a year.
Congratulations. Do you have a date set?
trying, like, especially, like, with her parents, is explain that marriage is a big thing, and we don't want to rush into it. So we are giving time in between our engagement and our marriage to know that we really want to be together before we just jump into something.
Well, I think it's wise to be be cautious. Like, it makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, because that's the thing. Like with my fiance, she hasn't had, like, I'm her first real relationship. I'm older than her, but I'm her first real relationship. I've been going through relationships since I was a young kid. You know, it may have not have been real when I was a kid, but I've had a lot more experience with that. So I know the result of having a long relationship. People get bored of each other, people, get too selfish, etc. So we're trying to give each other time to build a stable ground and then create a family and do on from there. And that's the smartest approach that I could see, But no kids, no real, major responsibilities. So it's good for now.
Yeah. So I think regardless of marriage, really, like when you get when you partner with somebody, right, or where you live together, your finances start to intermingle, all of a sudden breaking up, marriage is more just like a technicality. It's not like at one point, especially if you own a house together or have kids together, your life becomes so entangled that marriage is fiance is a big step in and of itself, and then just congratulations. I'm glad, good times. I was engaged in June of 2004 was when my engagement was. Yep.
Nice. And it's so weird too, especially the change in music that a person like you said you're 38, so the change in music is also drastic. That's something I haven't really got to experience too much. I was born in 1994, so I have seen grunge, I've seen all these waves of music, but it's crazier to think what you have seen, the change in music. Or is it you were born early 80s, I would suggest?
79. I spent a year in the 70s. Yeah. 70s weren't bad as far as much as I remember them, but mostly my memories come from the 80s. Let's see, what was I going to say? With music. The biggest change, I guess, for me is just hearing what's on the oldie station, hearing the stuff that used to be on the regular station being on the oldie station, and the transition, but it's, I don't know, I never really, I always made fun of my mom. I never was one, it's my 20-year high school reunion is coming up, and somebody posted in the reunion group, how talking about what music they wanted, just how the music sucked today, and it's my mom used to say that, I don't know, music, I still like the music today, I don't know, you guys are getting old on me. Cause everybody was chiming in too, oh yeah, right, and I'm I don't know, I don't know, I think music is, I like any kind of noise can be music. I think I don't know, I'm pretty eclectic. Cause and I don't know, even the music from when I was a kid sounds current to me, and the music today sounds current. It's weird. I don't know. But music was never a big part of my life, though. It was more. I'm much more visual person. I like high definition and and I don't know, and big.
Oh yeah, music in general. I hate when people ask me, who's your favorite musician or what's your favorite music? That can't really be defined that easy, because to say one genre of music or one artist is better than another is a cop-out, especially when, a person like me, I'm an artist of many forms. I like drawing, I like making music, I like making videos, I do a bunch of stuff. love a lot of old music. Like a lot of the old music I like is like big bands and what is it? A lot of old country too, like Conway Twitty, George Jones, and things like that.
Did you hear that that song, The Dirty Dozen, like earlier in the show? It was recorded.
I think so.
It was recorded in April 1929, and to me it sounds like it's the 50s. It's the, I don't know. Let me play it one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was recorded in April 1929. I love it. I really like it. Did you say you had heard it or not?
I think I came onto the show right as you were like finishing up with the.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because like I said, music wasn't that important, but it just seemed a lot. It seemed like it wasn't the typical music from the from the late 20s and early 30s.
It is kind of trippy to see myself. So, I love your living room, by the way. I think it's really awesome.
Thanks. I wonder, like, it doesn't look the same on camera, like, from this angle. Like, when you're down here, I don't know. I like, it's an open floor plan, which I like. That's, I guess, it's the kitchen and the living room, so. I don't know, now, like, I have to live in a house with a long room now, and a fireplace at the end of it.
Yeah, right. Is that a pasta far? Is that the flying spaghetti monster symbol?
Yep, I'm an ordained minister in the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I'm the first begotten son of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. S-U-N.
In high school, me and my friends found out about that. My friend, he went out and he bought one of the Bibles, the Flying Spaghetti Monster Bible, and we would do the most bizarre shit ever. Like, I'm a very dramatic person, so me and my friend, they would have their Bibles, and I would just run and collapse onto the floor, and just start, like, convulsing back and forth, and they're like, oh, his noodly appendages. We used to freak the teachers out all the time.
I don't know, I think I'm a firm believer in the al dente noodle, right? Like, the noodle runs through it all. I do believe in it. I believe in my noodle, and I believe in all of your noodles. And I also I believe in satire too. I think satire is one of the most powerful things. Like, when we have no other weapons against the powerful, just make fun of them. That takes away their power. Laughing at somebody always takes away their power.
I agree.
I can't turn it up. It's a phonograph. As a mute, there's an old-fashioned mute. It's like a felt ball you can stuff in the horn.
That is cool too, because I've only seen them in pictures. I've never seen one actually be used. Oh, look at her. What kind of dog is she?
This was recorded in April 1929.
Nice.
This is my favorite record I've found so far.
Let's see.
How much time do we have left? This is similar to different song, I think.
first record that came out for the Superman series. But I cannot find it. So, Jason,
Yeah.
what do you do for a living?
I've been off work. I've been unemployed since November. But I am a board certified psychiatric nurse by trade. Like I have 12 years inpatient experience, and then I worked at the same place for 17 years. But I don't know. I've been struggling. I've been really struggling. So I don't get out of the house much. I don't know. I consider myself disabled. I don't know. My professional opinion as a psychiatric nurse is that I'm disabled, and so are the nurses I work with too. They're like, if anybody need a disability, it's you. But like that's I don't know. And your coworkers are psychiatric nurses, and they say that it's telling. But like I'm so disabled. It's been since November I've been off work, and I still haven't applied for disability yet. I just can't get my shit together. I don't know. Whatever. Like I can do this. This is what I do, and it's crazy. It's like if I should be spending time apply. I could find time to apply for disability. I don't know what the fuck my problem is, but I have one. I don't know what. It's depression, maybe. I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to it's hard to even tell somebody to get their shit together, because what does that really mean? I don't really think anybody has their shit together.
Uh-oh, got a little one awake. Morning is hitting soon. Good morning, Jack.
Good morrow, Jack.
He's up early today. Bop it. That's a good plan. Thanks, Nick.
I did share the video, didn't I? Yeah. That's one thing too, is like, how can anybody be angry at this video? Like, I'm seeing some angry face emoji things. Like, what are you going to be angry at? It doesn't make sense.
I can't pay attention.
What's up?
I can't pay attention.
I have trouble with that too. Paying attention is like one of the most difficult things to do. So, how long has it been since you've been diagnosed with HIVs?
Since August of 2015.
Okay, so it hasn't been that long.
No, it's pretty fresh. 2 years. It's going on 2 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, I don't know. What to do now? It's almost what time? How much time we have left of the show?
It is 7:26 on my end. In Ohio, that is.
I have to see how much time on the show I meant. Let's see.
I think the time is 3 hours, 46 minutes, and 14 seconds.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna turn down the lights and read a bedtime story. Read us out.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, field day is it? Yeah. Sweet.
Field day.
Yeah, Mom
Gotta love
will
field
be
day.
home. Well, yeah, well, I'll go. That sounds fun. Do you know what time it is? Mama knows what time, I think. So, do you know what happens at field day, Jack? Tell us. All right. You don't have to. I don't blame you. It's early in the morning yet. Look at you climb, Sophie. Look at you. Be careful. Don't fall down the stairs, you crazy circus dog. You're my circus dog, aren't you? You want to climb up here with her? Do circus tricks? Alright, so. Good morning, Jack!
Dang it, Jack.
We're watching Jason is a social scientist. It's something you like, guys. For those of you going to bed, I'll read you a bedtime story. For those of you waking up, I don't know, you get to hear a bedtime story too. Oh, that's what he said. Dang the heck. Alright. Wait. Alright, dangers. You all got your chickens. We probably choke our chickens quick. Dang the heck. Things that make you go, dang it the heck, wubble of dub dub. Let's see, where the heck is it? Looks like we lost Austin. Thanks for being on, Austin. Whoa. Dang. Got a late start today, everybody. So, up earlier. People are actually waking up.
How much time do I have left?
Yeah.
You made this level 3. Can you see me?
Sure.
Like, you gotta jump on that if you really make it.
What are those ghosts? I've never seen those before. They're just background.
They kill you.
Oh, they do, huh?
No, look, you will recognize them if I see change the Mario game. You recognize these?
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Look at the other ones you can turn it into. Super Mario 3,
That's my favorite one.
Super Mario World. My favorite one is, can I show you? My favorite one is that one. And I can show you something. Do this, and then. This is where the ghost should be in the ghost house.
I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody here.
Did you see what came out of the mushroom, Daddy?
What was it?
Look. Look. Look at the lucky block, Daddy.
I'm watching.
B.
Oh, that's really lucky. It's a fire flower. It's one of these. One of these right here.
What's your chopper?
Oh, you know, oh yeah, not fire flower. It's one of these things.
But it was weird.
Out of the lucky block, one of these came out. All right, I'm gonna read them a bedtime story. These people need to go to sleep. They've been up all night.
Daddy?
All two of you.
Something?
You
can't kill the ghosts in Mario. You can't.
Even with fire, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Dang
I
that.
tried it before. It's hard. You can't. I thrown like 10. Even with the star, I can't kill it.
All right, Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. I don't have my Batman mask on. To fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Up Jack got, and home did trot, as fast as he could caper. Went to bed and bound his head with vinegar and brown paper. When Jill came in, how she did grin to see Jack's paper plaster. Mother vexed, did whip her next for causing Jack's disaster. In Mother Goose's Melody, 1765, a woodcut illustration to this rhyme shows two boys, which has led at least one commentator to identify the two as Cardinal Wolsey and his coadjutor. Yes? Yeah, you can have it. Bishop Tarbes, who together went to France to arrange the marriage of Mary Tudor to the French monarch. Another asserts that it is of great antiquity, with its origins in Scandinavian mythology. While Lewis Spence in Myth and Ritual, 1947, maintains that some ancient mystic ceremony may be associated with the rhyme, since no one in folklore sense climbs to the top of a hill for water unless that water has special significance. But as the editors of the Oxford Dictionary of Nursery Rhymes have pointed out, the fact that after rhymes with water suggests that the rhyme may have originated in the 17th century. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about Jack and Nori, and now my story's begun. I'll tell you another about Jack and his brother, and now my story is done. Jack and Nori
goes by other names and different versions of this rhyme, used to discourage children's demand for a story. Rollo says, yay, story time. Yeah, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, thank you everybody for a great show. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Austin, for being here. And yeah, that's the end of the show, I think. I'm going to end it right now. Good night.